Now, you might have noticed that China is on the warpath again. It's not sabre-rattling this time, not threatening international borders, but again threatening free speech, threatening political persecution, trying to control ideas and information. Just today, it's been revealed the Chinese social media platform WeChat has essentially taken over Prime Minister Scott Morrison's account and turned it into a propaganda account for China. This is pathetic and shocking, but of course it's exactly what we should expect from an authoritarian communist dictatorship. Liberals are now boycotting the platform and asking Labor to do the same. This comes just a couple of days after Beijing warned foreign athletes heading to China for next month's Winter Olympics that they could be punished if they say the wrong thing while in China. The stern warning came from an official declaring that political statements could see athletes subjected to Chinese law. Now, this is extremely worrying, right? Western or even Australian athletes could be jailed in China for saying the wrong thing at the Olympics? What an ugly proposition. Unsurprisingly, our own government has spoken out against this. Our Sports Minister, Richard Colbeck, says Australians should have the right to free expression when they're in China, and the Olympic movement has pushed back against this too. We'll see how all that plays out. But here's the problem. We rightly attack China for this sort of threat, this sort of attempted control. We deplore it. But do we live our own values? Does Australia talk the talk but then fail to walk the walk? Well, look at how we treated Novak Djokovic. We gave him a visa and then cancelled it. He appealed in our courts and won. Then instead of accepting the ruling of our own courts, the minister expelled him for his views. Not because Djokovic was unvaxxed, not because he had broken any rules, but because of Djokovic's alleged views about vaccination. So the world #1 tennis player was booted out of Australia because the government didn't like some of the things he'd said. We'd be disgusted if China did that, and rightly so. And what about this? When tennis fans in Melbourne wore T-shirts and drew attention to the worrying fate of Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai, they were evicted and their T-shirts confiscated. Really? People drawing attention to human rights breaches against a Chinese tennis player, and Tennis Australia silences them, censors them? Tennis Australia should have been handing out Peng Shuai T-shirts, joining the protest. You see, it goes like this. Yes, we must stand up to China over human rights abuses, Chinese thought control and Chinese censorship. But to do that, we have to live the right values at home. We have to value and defend free speech here. We have to have freedom of expression here. We have to tolerate dissent here. Right now, our country is exposed by its own hypocrisy on these matters, and that deeply worries me. We need to remember our values, stand by them, and live them. That way, our criticisms of China have more authority. That way, we're fair dinkum.